Hello and welcome to engineering. Today we are going to answer the question, what do engineers really do? But before we get started on that, I want to answer a question that many of my students have asked me over the course of this school year. Why are we learning about engineering, especially in middle school? Well, there are many reasons to learn about engineering, and the reason that I want all of you to try out engineering and see how you do is because I want you to discover that all of us have engineering skills and maybe just didn't realize it. But there are several other reasons to consider engineering as a potential future career. There are always engineering jobs available. Engineering jobs tend to pay higher than many other jobs with similar education requirements. You can experience a high level of career success with only a bachelor's degree. For many careers, you have to go back to school and get a master's or a doctorate degree in order to be highly successful. However, for most people, a bachelor's degree in engineering is sufficient. Engineering careers enjoy job stability. Engineers are always needed, and so even times of economic decline, engineers can still find jobs. Currently, in the engineering field, there are not enough engineers graduating from college to fill all of the jobs that are available. So for that reason, scholarships are available, and there are especially scholarships available for women. Engineering allows you to solve real-world problems to make a better world. And when you do that for your job, it leads to job satisfaction because you are doing what is needed to make a difference. Engineering is a great career choice to consider when planning your future. Today's vocabulary involves three terms that I want to be sure you know. First is the term engineer. An engineer is a person who designs and builds things to solve specific problems. Engineers do many other things as well, but every engineer does this. The second term is salary. Salary is pay or earnings that someone receives in exchange for work done. Today we are going to be exploring the average salary for many kinds of engineers. Lastly is the term discipline. Discipline is an area of study or expertise in higher education, such as college or university. Engineers pursue disciplines which make them successful at the job they do as an engineer. There are many kinds of engineers who do many different things. In fact, there are so many that we don't have the time today to discuss all of them, and we'll only be discussing the most 6 common engineering jobs. However, all engineers solve real-world problems and make the world a better place through the things that they develop. Today we will be discussing 6 different types of engineers, and these can be found on the chart in your digital worksheet. As I go through the information for each engineering field, please fill in the blanks so that at the end you have a clear picture of what each engineering field does. Remember that when you're watching this video, a good idea is to pause when you need to stop and type something into your digital worksheet, and then resume the video and pause again when you have another thing that you need to type in. The first type of engineer that we are going to discuss today is an aerospace engineer. Aerospace engineers design and test satellites, airplane and jet engines, missiles, and space shuttles and rockets. Aerospace engineers work for companies such as NASA, robotics companies, automotive facilities, Department of Defense, and other private space firms such as SpaceX. The disciplines that an aerospace engineer might use would be things such as astrodynamics, flight structures and materials, propulsion, fluid dynamics, control systems, and navigation. While the work that aerospace engineers do is very complex and very, very rooted in science, physics, and math, remember that it all starts with just basic understandings and the ability to make an observation. You have engaged in aerospace engineering if you have ever made a paper airplane and worked to perfect it and modify it so that it flies further, higher, or better. The second field of engineering is biomedical engineers. Biomedical engineers improve access to medicine and medical services. They innovate medical technology and they develop new, improved medical treatments. They tend to work for medical research facilities, medical device and instrument companies, pharmaceutical companies, biotechnology firms, and in prosthetics development. Biomedical engineers will focus on the disciplines of math, physics, chemistry, biology, anatomy, and neuroscience. In many ways, biomedical engineers are where medicine and engineering come together. Be thinking of ways that biomedical engineers might be working diligently to solve the challenges presented by the coronavirus. The third type of engineer that we will discuss is civil engineers. Civil engineering is one of the largest fields of engineering because they design infrastructure like bridges, buildings, tunnels, dams, highways, airports, water, and sewer systems. Every time you take a drink of water from the tap in your home, every time you walk into a school or a public building, every time you drive across a bridge or go through a tunnel, you are placing your life in the hands of the civil engineers that designed it. Civil engineers tend to work for structural design firms, commercial construction, residential development, geotechnical firms, and the Department of Transportation. The disciplines that civil engineers focus on are architecture, construction, built environments, geology, transportation, and water resources. While civil engineering engages in a high level of design and expertise, remember that if you have experience in construction or you love architecture, that's a great starting point for a career in civil engineering. The fourth type of engineer that we will discuss is an environmental engineer. Environmental engineers work to protect the environment and public health. They work to develop clean water and sewer systems, air quality management, and in pollution cleanup. Environmental engineers work for drinking water and wastewater treatment plants, oil and gas production, and environmental firms. The disciplines that environmental engineers engage in are things such as environmental science, math, water chemistry, physics, and atmospheric science. The next type of engineer that we are going to discuss is mechanical engineers. Mechanical engineering is also one of the largest engineering fields. Mechanical engineers design and manufacture products and systems to advance the modern world, and they design the machines to produce and test innovations. And so, not only do they design new things, they design the technology needed to make new things. Mechanical engineers work in the aerospace industry, amusement park design, automotive industry, medical device industry, power and energy plant design, and robotics. Anything that is mechanical is something that a mechanical engineer has designed. I bet you didn't think when you got on that roller coaster that there's an engineer somewhere who's designing roller coasters all the time. Sounds like a fun job, right? A mechanical engineer focuses on the disciplines of solid and fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, heat transfer, mechanical systems, and material properties. The final type of engineer that we will discuss today is a software engineer. Software engineers develop programs and applications for computers, phones, and gaming equipment. So whether you're playing a video game, using TikTok, or Snapchat, or doing homework using Google Classroom, you are enjoying the work of software engineers. Software engineers work for computer system design firms, electronics manufacturers, universities, and tech startups. Software engineers tend to focus on disciplines such as mathematical algorithms, artificial intelligence, communication and security, programming language, and software engineering. Remember, if you did not get all the notes for this section, you can pause the video, back up to whatever you need, and then resume. Engineers do many things, and today we've only talked about the job that 6 types of engineers do. There are many other kinds, such as agricultural and food engineers, electrical engineers, chemical engineers, and many others. Which type of engineering would you enjoy the most? Today we are going to think about the skills and requirements for each engineering field for our independent practice activity. On your digital worksheet, please go to the link for the college recruitment poster and open the link. This link does contain detailed step-by-step instructions, but right now I'm going to go over a few instructions so that you can be successful at this project. For this activity, you will imagine that you are a recruiter for a college trying to find potential engineering students for your school. You will choose an engineering field that you are interested in from the 6 options that we discussed in today's lesson. Open the template linked in your digital worksheet and complete each section of the poster with the information that is required. Much of the information will be in your notes from the slides that we just went through, and some of the information will require a brief Google search. Finally, add photos, change the colors and the layout. Be creative and make it your own. Good luck!